Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of Engineering with Chris. Today we're looking at the Air Vue monitor products. In front of me right here I have a basic Air Vue monitor. This monitor allows up to 3 wireless transmitters to be paired with it. It has no physical inputs for cameras itself, just an SD card slot on the top. This Air Vue system pairs over the power line through a power line carrier communication. After it pairs over the power line, then it begins to transmit all the data wirelessly between the wireless transmitter and the monitor. So, for example, right now I'm showing all 3 views for the wireless transmitters up to the system. If I touch on this, I can adjust the view that I'm actually viewing. This is channels 1, 2, 3, some split views, and an auto. The auto function will automatically try to detect a wireless transmitter that is on the farthest away. So, for example, if you were pulling double trailers, then it will try to figure out which wireless transmitter is the very rear trailer and display that single one to you. Because all my wireless transmitters are wired very close electrically together, the system cannot determine exactly what is the rear one, so it has selected camera 1. Now you'll notice that on this wireless transmitter, the blue light is on, but the other blue lights are off. These 2 wireless transmitters are paired to the monitor, but because the monitor is only displaying one of the wireless transmitters, that's only why this one is on. So paired but not transmitting data, that's why the blue lights are off. So this monitor does have recording functionality, but because only one wireless transmitter is active broadcasting right now, we're only recording what is being displayed on the system. So now if I go in here and I change the trailer view to show triple view, for example, now we'll see all 3 blue lights have turned on and we're able to see all the systems. This is the audio to adjust which channel is displaying the audio. This green button here with the arrows is the repair button. So if I touch on this button here, this would be similar to the monitor verse powering on. So you can see the blinking pairing lights, the monitor's detected the transmitters and is paired with them, and that's what we have for the display. This monitor, so you can view the recordings on here. You can adjust the visual recording settings. So for example, if you wanted the recording time duration of the file being saved to be 1, 3, or 5 minutes, that's how you could adjust it. Formatting the SD card, setting time and date, power on record. If you never planned on installing an SD card, maybe you want to turn off that SD card message so you don't see it in the upper corner. So that's what this setting is for. And that's the basic Air Vue monitor. So now, switching gears over to the advanced Air Vue monitor. The main difference between this monitor product is this has 3 wired inputs and 1 additional output, so that you could output this view or whatever view you want of this monitor to a DVR product, for example, or a dash cam product, similar telematics connected device. So this allows you to have up to 3 wired channels, which we're looking at here, and 1 wireless channel. This wireless channel here is very similar to this product. And so we've taken this interface out of this monitor and we've installed it into this portion of the screen. And so now, so this has a similar functionality as that. So here's the pair button. So for example, if I press the pair button, it will search for cameras. It will detect the systems. It will pair with them. It will try to determine which one is the final trailer, and then select that one as a view. And again, because they're wired very close together, there is no correct answer for this one, so it has selected camera 1. Okay, so again, we can go into our trailer view. We can adjust it to view up to all 3 wireless channels. And for this demonstration, I only have 2. This is why we're only viewing 2 right here. Okay, so a little bit more about the wired camera functionality. So for example, right now, if you wanted to adjust screen positions, no problem. Touch on camera 1, camera 4. You can swap their physical positions on the screen. For camera 2 and cam 3, for this demonstration, I've selected some RVS arm cameras. These are cameras that were typically installed on the side mirrors of a vehicle looking rearwards. So just to give it a little bit more context here. This view icon here will adjust the display view. So for example, if you wanted to view an H-split view or only view 3 channels, you could easily swap between the views. There's also some picture-in-picture options as well as special. The special option allows you to really customize exactly what you're looking at. So for example, here we have cam 4. We do not plan on installing a camera that would, maybe like a front camera, for example, on this particular vehicle. So we can actually go and turn off this display so you don't see that anymore. But now we'll see that, well, cam 1 is on the bottom row and there's no neighbor next to it. So we can go over here, we can actually adjust the width of that camera feed to fill up the entire screen. So perfect. Now I have a totally full picture view down at the very bottom. So again, now I'll go ahead and adjust this split, and I'll adjust this back to a split view to view 1 and 2 cameras. So now I have 2 wireless cameras being displayed on the very bottom and 2 wired cameras being displayed at the top. Now, for these wireless cameras here, let me change the view to show the trailer in full view. Okay, so now I have two wireless transmitters that would theoretically be on the same trailer. So, for example, one of our wireless transmitters could be used for a cargo camera so that you could see inside the trailer. And the other wireless camera could be installed on the back looking rearwards. So in this example, we could roll backwards and have a AI pedestrian detection camera. So that way it detects Grandpa standing out behind the trailer. So we're able to detect him and then output an audio alarm out to the monitor to alert the vehicle. The driver, I'm sorry. Okay, so now inside the settings icon, let me walk through some of these basic settings. So this is adjust the camera view. So for example, if you wanted to rotate some of the particular views, you could easily do that with this setting here between the different cameras. Rename the cameras. Parking lines, if you wanted to set parking lines for any of the individual channels, you can do that here. Language for the monitor. The triggers are very customizable. So for example, we have all of our triggers here. We have triggers 2, 3, 4, reverse, and a split view. So if you want to customize, let's say trigger 2, for example. Trigger 2 right now, there's a 3-second delay when it shows it. It is the second priority, and it's going to show you channel 2. But let's say when channel 2 is triggered, you actually want to view a split view. You can set that here to adjust to whatever you want to actually see out of that trigger view. Same with, for example, trigger 3, you can adjust to see what trigger 3 shows. So if you want that to be a quad view, you can easily change that trigger. We'll back out here. Auto scan will automatically rotate through the different views. So for example, in this configuration right now, this would display to you channel 1 for 3 seconds, then show channel 2 for 3 seconds, then channel 3 for 3 seconds. So this will just kind of rotate through. And then now, of course, you can adjust this to show you whatever you want. So if I want the first thing to show me a split view, and then 2, 3, 4, you could set that up. If you don't want these options, for example, if you went here, entered in 0, now it will just skip this one. So it will just rotate through to the next. The power on option. So this is the view on power on. So if I want to power on with quad view or I don't want the monitor to turn on when the vehicle turns on, you could just select this icon here. Standard. So this is to automatically adjust the camera settings. So if you had a standard definition camera, 720 or 1080, this monitor will automatically adjust and correct for that camera image. CVBS mode. As discussed earlier, there is an output for the system, and the output is customizable. So for example, if you really only wanted to output channel 1, which is this wireless channel that we're looking at in the background, you could do that. Or if you want to output a quad view over this output, you can easily do that as well. So it's a setting for CVBS out. The disk icon here. So for example, I have a 256 gigabyte SD card loaded in the top. We can see the consumption on there. Format the SD card in this menu. The record settings. So if I want to record on power on, I can turn to the on. The file length between 5, 10, and 15-minute file sizes saved on the SD card. And the bit rate. So if you're particularly concerned about data consumption of the SD card, you could set the bit rate to low. If you want really high resolution video as the output, you could set the bit rate to high. And then lastly, in the settings, it has the dimmer setting, which is set to automatic by default. If you wanted a system password, you could set that so that nobody can enter the system menu and start playing around with settings unless they have the password to do that. If you have adjusted the view and the trigger information and the auto scan and the parking lines and all the other configurations from the system, you're going to want to be able to import and export those settings. And so that's what this icon does here. So you could export the data from this monitor and import it onto the vehicle next to it. So you don't have to reconfigure everything from scratch. The menu lock to lock out different functionalities. For example, disable touchscreen and only allow for the buttons if you're inadvertently pressing things. This is the menu lock here. The buzzer is the audio feedback, again, for touching different settings. Time, date, factory reset, and then upgrading the monitor is the last settings. So again, for this system here, it is recording every channel individually. It's recording channels 2, 3, and 4 as they are. The channel 1 here, because this is a wireless channel, again, it's only recording the wireless system that is being displayed. So if I go in here, we go to trailer, and we select 1, right now it is not recording this secondary rear camera that's looking out the very back. It's not recording this one. So we have to go back in here, adjust this, and view split screen. Now it is recording what is being displayed on this channel. One final consideration when using multiple wireless transmitters on the same trailer. We discussed about how the wireless transmitters pair over the power line, and because two wireless transmitters installed on the same trailer will be a very similar distance through the electrical harness away from the monitor may struggle to tell exactly which wireless transmitter is the furthest away. So as a result, you may see occurrences like, for example, here our cargo camera is on the left and the rear camera is on the right. These positions may swap through enough pairing cycles. So just something to be aware of when using the system. And that is a quick overview of the Air Vue Monitor product lines and some of the advanced functionality.